Pew, pew.
Gotcha.
Brandon Perna poops. Oh, baby. We here. Joke's on you. We need a center. So, joke's on you. Elton Jenkins going to be moving to center.
F grade for the Packers in the draft. We steer.
Nope. It's just look at that. Look, it's not even. It's not. Yeah, it's an F. It's an F. Yeah. Okay. You in the right direction. Welcome to another edition of the Grossi Perna Show. I'm Tom Grossi. That's Brandon Perna, and this is G-Up-P. Yes.
Nice.
We did it.
We're here for talking about a football.
Oh, and there's so much of football going on.
There's a lot of little things. Well, dust up of news.
A little bit yesterday. Jalen Ramsey, which when he got re-signed for a crap ton of money and for a hot second was the highest paid corner in the NFL, my number one question was, why? Because, I mean, listen, all due respect to Jalen Ramsey, but besides being burned by Devontae Adams, a little bit older, has been dealing with some injuries and then giving a major contract. And then, oh, look, the Miami Dolphins are looking to trade Jalen Ramsey after all that. And I feel like they're in this rebuild, but don't want to say rebuild because it's like a dirty word. And they're like, oh, no, we're just reorganizing. And again, a little bit of a veteran, he's been around for a while. But then I just don't understand why you're paying him all that money. And on top of that, the secondary for the Dolphins, holy crap, man. Like from being like one of the best in the NFL, these past few years, kind of lost everybody. So
yeah, they
Miami,
don't have anybody.
I'm so sorry. What'd you say?
Gone. Everybody gone.
Yeah, they're gone now. They're not there.
And they want to get rid of the guy who's pretty good. Specifically on their team. So,
The Dolphins are a weird case, though. Like, obviously, Tyreek Hill. Yeah. And then I feel it's just that window because I like that offseason when they're trading for Tyreek Hill and it's like, oh, crap. Like, they finally got like two of all these weapons. They got the head coach. Like, they got everything. And it just never came together, whether it was due to injuries, whether it was just like couldn't get it done when they needed it to. And ultimately, it just feels like they missed that window. And the Dolphins are back at that same point where they're like, okay, we're still rocking with Tua, but there's not that like insurance that this is going to work out. And I feel like they're kind of in this weird limbo where they'll still be competitive. You just don't know how competitive that team is going to be.
Yeah, I don't know. A Disney villain?
Gaston on his day off.
Your gold in lamp.
And lamp. Oh, so an Aladdin video.
And your long hair.
Tangle?
I want to eat Rapunzel's hair.
Oh.
And that magic carpet, too.
Okay, back to Aladdin.
And that mermaid tail. I'm going to cut it off.
Oh.
And give you Geppetto's legs.
Oh. What?
Yes.
I mean, a hair eater that also
was going to steal your shiny things. And then I'll take you to Dia de los Muertos with Coco.
I was about to say you've been watching a lot of Coco with Carmi. I mean, I watched Coco.
We got Disney. It's on all the time.
I watched Coco with Carmi when I was there. So
yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
And that's why Jalen Ramsey will be in Coco 2.
They are making a Coco 2, unfortunately. They are. First one's good.
What were we talking about?
Jalen Ramsey.
God.
Their secondary. The lack of knowing if the Dolphins are going to be a competitive team where it looks like they missed their window.
It's hard to gauge whether or not trading Jalen Ramsey for the Dolphins makes sense until we know what they can actually get for him, right?
I don't think they're getting a lot.
That's the thing. Like, if they get something significant, then you're like, all right, they are going to reset. Their defense been riddled with injuries, and it is hemorrhaged talented players over the last 2 seasons, off seasons, and you're looking at that situation where both Tyreek Hill and Jalen Ramsey got extensions recently. And like, the guy you want to trade is Tyreek Hill, not Jalen Ramsey, really, for your team specifically.
Sure.
And both guys have the same question. You don't know how much great football's left in either of those players. So, yeah, it was very perplexing to see that and the way it came about. Usually it's like a player requests a trade, right?
Sure.
So it's like, oh, okay. He did not ask for more money because he just got more money, and he got more money the year before that. So the Dolphins went to him, talked to him and his agent, and then decided it'd be best if they traded him.
Mm-hmm.
So the whole situation is just weird. And the Derek Carr situation since Monday has gotten even more bizarre. I thought that would honestly be like cleared up by now. But now they're like, no, Derek Carr leaked the information that he's hurt, and he's not really hurt. He just really wants to get out of New Orleans now. It's like, oh, this is getting juicy. So Ramsey hits the possible trade market. If he's moved, maybe that happens during the draft. The Panthers may or may not want to move out of their pick in the draft. The Broncos are in a spot in the draft where they could trade their spot. The 49ers possibly want to move up in the draft even further. So Tom and I we're gonna try and predict and figure out some of the draft day trades that could be happening. But what is this?
There we go. No, I just wanted to show his contract right now for Ramsey, because this is one of the things where I don't think that they're going to get a ton of value. One, he's already 31 years old, right? So that's going to play a part of where Jalen Ramsey is going to go. And then for the amount of money that he's getting, his cap hits 16 mil this year, and technically there's an out next year. So any team that takes him on, like, they could potentially get out of it. But if they don't, like, that money is significant, so they're going to have to restructure in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
Because when they traded for him, excuse me, what was it, a 3rd round pick, if I'm not mistaken? When that happened a few years ago? I think it was like
I forget what they gave up to get him.
It was like a 3rd rounder, if I'm not mistaken. Hold on. Rams trade Jalen.
Because once they traded for him, they reworked his deal, gave him a 3-year extension.
Yes.
Right?
What the hell was it for? I thought it was for a 3rd. But yeah, 3rd and Hunter Long. Thank you. Yeah. So, like, I can't imagine that they're even going to get a 3rd. You know, like, are you looking at maybe like a 5th round pick? Something like that, maybe a 4th, because there's a combination of age, contract, and also, yeah, I just don't think that, like, he'll help a secondary, but I just don't think he's the same player that he was. So
no, you kind of want him to go to a spot that where a team has like a number 1 corner, or a guy they believe is developing into their number 1 corner.
Mm-hmm.
The Rams, you know, there's ties back to the Rams, and then the Falcons too. Because he played with Raheem Morris when he was with the Rams, and Morris was a big fan of Jalen Ramsey. So, you know, and the Falcons, outside of AJ Terrell, they could definitely use help in their secondary. Yep. They can always use help in their secondary.
I mean, their secondary has gotten better over the years, like with the addition of Bates and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, they just need a pass rusher. Do the Steelers draft Dart? That's the rumor. You know, that's kind of heating up a little bit, but who the hell knows what's going on with Aaron Rodgers? I mean, my question is, if he doesn't make a decision by the time the draft rolls around, do the Steelers just say screw it? And in that case too, because wasn't there a story, and again, I don't know the validity of it, so I don't want to claim it as fact, but there was, Rodgers had interest in playing for the Vikings, which we already knew, but he was talking about like coming in for a year. Was that confirmed?
I don't know.
Okay.
Is anything ever confirmed with Aaron?
It's fair. So I don't know if he'd come on for that like mentorship role, because if let's just say the Steelers do go and get Jackson Dart, then I feel like going and getting Aaron Rodgers if he's super cheap is not the worst thing that you can do, right? Because you kind of have that mentorship thing. He's there for a year and call it a day, and then that's it.
Yeah.
I just don't know if he's going to take that kind of contract, but I would imagine that the Steelers are going to have their QB situation a little bit more sorted after next week.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, it feels like Rodgers is waiting to see who the Steelers do draft, right?
That's kind of whatever, right? I mean, it's kind of, I don't even know if that's what he's waiting for.
Why is he waiting?
I don't know. I do not know.
Oh, man. In Netflix has Brett Favre documentary coming up soon. You fucking ex-Packer QBs and your Netflix documentaries about how weird your fucks are. You fucks are. Oh, I love it. Jordan Love.
Who knows what he's going to do in 15 years? It's going to be on
Netflix, my friend, and it's not going to be for good reasons.
Love hurts. That's what it's going to be.
He was never able to actually love.
That's it. Commanders lower volume of draft picks. I wouldn't be overly concerned about that.
Actually, it'll be Jordan Love with the love crossed out and then hate written across it. Boom.
Should get into marketing.
I know.
I think you should do it. I wouldn't be super concerned. I'm not really sold on some of the moves the Commanders made during the free agency. But I do like that they got Tunsil because their offensive line is going to be better. So it's about the quality of the picks. So they're just going to have to draft well. I mean, traded to Denver. No.
Johnston, my friend, you ain't got the hands to play for Sean Payton. You ain't got the hands. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure the Chargers, I think I saw one article about the Chargers maybe trying to trade Quentin Johnston, but that's going to be a stretch.
There's no true rebuild in the NFL. Well, I mean, look at the Cleveland Browns. Look at the Carolina Panthers. Look at the New Orleans Saints. Yep. I mean, I feel like that there are perpetual rebuilds, you know, whether they want to label it or not. But I think it's also your definition on like, what are you expecting, right? If you're not making the playoffs, are you a rebuild team?
Dude, the Broncos just did a rebuild. They just did it ultra fast.
Yeah.
I
am David. I am.
Opened their orifices and ate all of Russell Wilson's dead cap money. They drafted a rookie quarterback. They couldn't sign anybody of, high market value. And they made the playoffs that same rebuild year. So it was a very fast rebuild. It does happen, but never to I don't think it ever happens the way we think or the way we imagine, where a team just says bye to all of their good players.
Yeah.
Has a team full of just rookies and the cheapest free agents, and they go on. The Texans kind of almost did it too.
Honestly, dude, the Packers almost had that when they made the playoffs as a 7 seed. Like they had Jordan Love, who was an unproven quarterback, know, who had literally not played a year as a starter. We had wide receivers who we were kind of just like, all right, let's see what happens. Like they had a pretty young offense at that time. But yeah, I agree with you. I mean, the thing is things can change so quickly, right? Like look at the Bengals and Joe Burrow, right? Like that's a big one. Look at the Commanders and Jaden Daniels, like CJ Stroud. So it's definitely possible. It's just a matter of like how well you draft or if those free agents, because if you're a bad football team, the idea is that you're going to have cap space. Looking at you, Saints. But the idea is that you're going to have cap space because, you've gotten rid of a lot of your crappy contracts, got rid of a lot of your veteran players. And so now you have all this money to spend. But yeah, that's not always the case. I mean, look at the Patriots this year, right? They had some down years and now they had a whole bunch of money that they can overpay a whole bunch of free agents. So it works out. If Captain Hook smoked crocodile hookah, I could see that.
Ah, Peter, you son of a bitch.
That's all you say?
Yeah.
You're going to try to eat his hair or?
No, nobody's trying to eat Peter Pan's hair.
No, just Rapunzel's hair. I don't
know
why
you take out Peter and Rufio with one swing of my hook.
Oh,
get them both.
I know what you did last summer,
dude. We need a gritty remake of Peter Pan.
I think those have happened before, and plus they're doing like the Winnie the Pooh ones now, and like
wow.
Yeah,
we need Captain Hook to be truly scary.
How are my Cowboys going to screw up in the draft? Well, you need to go get a running back.
Ways.
Yeah, you need to go get a running back. I think that would help a lot. I also think a good ground game would just significantly help that Cowboys offense right now, because then it's not just Dak and CeeDee Lamb. So go get a good running back, which there's a good amount of in this draft, and you'll be doing all right. Hey, Zach, defend that PhD. Do it. Crush it. Live it.
Why do you got to defend it?
You got to go up there. You got to go be a doctor. Be like, this is my PhD.
Imagine if we all had to defend our degrees like every 2 years to prove we still, like, you get your degree, and then every 2 years you got to prove that you still smart enough to show that you earned it.
Sure. I mean, those are like performance evaluations and stuff like that as teachers, and yeah, it's fun stuff.
No, the college will literally take your degree away if you prove to be dumber than when you got it.
Oh. So we're all screwed.
Yeah.
Oh,
not me. My degree's
in
video
production.
Yankees. I'm still in it.
49ers, we're still waiting on Brock Purdy. I thought maybe that news would break while I was away. Nope, they're still trying to figure that out too. How much money they're going to throw a good old Brock. But real quick, to go back to where we were before about Jalen Ramsey, I think at most you're getting a 5th round pick, maybe. 4th, I don't think it's going to go that high just with that contract. But for the Dolphins, I think that they're a team that they just need to figure out what team they're going to be, right? Like Tua needs to play for a full year. I know that like it's just a very tired narrative about Tua staying healthy, but he has to stay healthy. Like that is one of the things that you have to be able to really take a good look at what you got. And it just seems like, unfortunately for them, like their window, I think they'll be competitive again, especially within the division, but if they win a playoff game, I feel like that's a hugely successful season, because it's been a hot minute that's happened. But I don't know how you build on it right now. If Tua is able to stay healthy and he's your guy, then you have a foundation to build upon. But it looks like, Tyreek Hill, I don't know how much longer he's going to be in Miami. Like even if it's for another season or two, I just don't see it lasting too long. And yeah, then it's going to be decision time. So,
yeah. I mean, Miami, they can use corner. They need defensive line help. They need offensive line help. And I think they needed corner help before this news. So both their lines, Armstead retires. They lost Wilkins the last offseason. Bradley Chubb was hurt all last year still. Like they need to be better in the trenches.
Yeah.
Significantly. For them to
Armstead's just retired too.
What's that?
Armstead retired too.
Yeah, that's what I just said.
Oh, did you say? I'm so sorry.
God. You're turning into me.
Who?
You. I think like you're probably right. 3rd round draft pick is the most you'll get.
No, I said Jalen Ramsey.
Oh, you said 5th?
Dude, they traded. They got him for a 3rd round
but
pick.
That doesn't matter.
I think the
Cowboys traded Amari Cooper for a 5th, and the Browns got a 3rd for Amari this last year. So like, you just never know which. Like the Cowboys might give up a 2nd for Jalen Ramsey right now.
They might.
I don't know how the fuck your Cowboys are going to mess up the draft, guys.
Going all in.
Give a 1st round pick for Jalen Ramsey.
Jared Jones. Japan was great. I don't know when I'll go back. I want to go to New Zealand. I wanted to go for over a decade. I want to go to New Zealand. I'm hoping next year that's the time.
When Tom and I were drunk on mezcal, we were both going to New Zealand in 2026, guaranteed.
Yep. I'm going. I am going to I'm going to get myself there. So Perna, come along. I'm going to do just a hiking tour. We're going to go all Lord of the Rings things. We're just going to go hike forever. Yes. Or throw things in. We could throw a Chiefs jersey into Mount Doom.
Oh.
Do that?
One jersey to ruin them all.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I'm throwing a Vikings one in there. So works out.
You're right, Taylor. I do.
That's true. Also, hold on one second. We also had a other thing. You mentioned the Derek Carr situation.
Yeah, I just said it's gotten more bizarre since Monday. Like, I thought we'd get some clarity, but now it's a lot of he said, she said.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
I mean, and the problem is like they just restructured him too.
Yeah, to ensure he's there for 2025.
Yeah, so it's just not a good look, and I feel like the Saints. I don't even know if you draft a quarterback at this point. I feel like you just draft best player available, where you're at.
No, they definitely should draft a quarterback. They don't have to take a quarterback at 9, but they need to take a quarterback. Because Derek Carr, even if
9, I don't like it.
I do. If Shadur Sanders is there, take him. He's better than Derek Carr. I'll tell you that right now. Derek Carr, at this point in his career, not going to stay healthy. And if it looks like what this scenario is, where he doesn't want to be there, draft his fucking replacement.
I just don't like it at 9,
Tom.
I mean, I get it. I get it.
The most telling thing about this Derek Carr situation was how confused Ian Rappaport was reporting it. He was on McAfee. He was just like, guys, honestly, I don't really fully understand what's happening here right now. I'm like, dang, if Ian doesn't have the full story, who knows? Yeah. Carr's been injury prone the last 2 years. I would have loved for Spencer Rattler to like show us something last year.
Yeah.
Because I thought he was one of the more undervalued quarterbacks in last year's draft. But when he and Jake Haener were out there, it was not good. Take a quarterback. Doesn't work out. If it's even worse, you'll be in a spot the following year.
Mm-hmm. I mean, the Saints just need to figure it the hell out, man. Like, but we've been saying this about the Saints just about every single offseason of like just blow it up and figure it the hell out. Yeah. So I don't know if I would rather them get like a top 10 prospect that's not a QB, and then they can go get they can not do that great this year and then go get a QB next year. And that doesn't necessarily mean they're going to be successful. But yeah, I don't know. Number 9, unless it's literally like your guy that falls to you at QB. Edward, we talked about that. We talked about the Bears all last month. They won the offseason championship once again, and then it's been quiet. It's been a very quiet offseason.
I hate this offseason.
It's been a rough one. It's been a tough one. So streams, I don't know. Watching, I will definitely be watching. Oh, I will definitely be watching.
What the fuck is a Hockett stream, Edward?
It's hockey. Yeah,
I'm gonna watch some Hockett.
Brandon says this is if he doesn't misspell.
Sounds like a thing the Hobbits play.
The Huggit for the Hobbits. The Hobbits.
A great game of Hockett.
Exactly, Bobby. Yeah. And then the Texans
spelling mistakes. Good God.
Yeah. That's it. Just get roasted for it. You talk about Mark Andrews in here.
Yes.
That's an interesting one.
Ravens are not fully committed. I think he's a trade piece heading into the draft.
Is he going to drop in value like he drops footballs? Sorry.
Oh,
sorry.
Tom taking the low blow.
I just had two ones. I feel like it's interesting because like they have other pieces at tight end that they can work with. Like they could rock with Isaiah Likely. It's just what's his contract? That's going to be the thing. It was pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie. Japan was pretty damn cool. They had some things that I was like, this is what the future looks like. Oh, and that, all right. So his cap hit is nearly $17 million, but then he's a free agent after this season.
Yeah.
So it's like, do you get the trade value out of him now, or do you just let his contract expire and call it a day?
Yeah. If they loved him, they would be talking about his extension. And instead, they're very non-committal about it. He has value still. They've got a replacement for him, and likely,
Yeah.
I think if Likely's toe was a little bit smaller, he would have already been the replacement. But
true. I feel like for the
plus, there's a lot of tight ends in this draft class. So
you're saying you would say trade him away?
I don't know if I would trade him away. I think the Ravens are weighing that option right now.
Yeah, I feel like he's 29. Do you think
that there's a tight end, dude? You can run like a 7-second 40, a la Travis Kelce, and still be a good tight end in the NFL.
So, like, that's my question though: is what does his trade value look like? Because you're getting him on a 1-year rental. You're gonna have to extend him, right? If you're whatever team is gonna grab him. I feel like there's definitely teams that would be interested. But it's like you said, if you have a tight end heavy draft class where they could just go and get a rookie, they're not going to probably have the same production as Mark Andrews right this second. But if you could develop him, I feel like teams are going to lean towards that. Like he'd have to go to a contender, I would assume. And I just don't know who snags him. Does he just go to the Chiefs?
Dude, the Chargers need a tight end. What, Seahawks? Is Will Dissly still their number one guy in Seattle? Who's their tight? Noah Fant.
Noah Fant.
Yeah, they got Noah, my man Noah.
Hey, your guy.
Forget about your Noah. I didn't forget about your Noah.
I really forgot about Noah Fant.
No, I did not.
Disappointing.
Jaguars. New England could use another one.
Again, there's teams that definitely could utilize him. It's just going to be, do they want to pay that contract and, be responsible for extending him? And again, even with that, I don't know what is it, a 3rd round pick? Maybe around
Who
there?
gets more, Andrews or Ramsey? Who would get a higher draft pick?
Oh,
who would get more draft comp, Ramsey or Andrews?
It's a good question. I feel like the CB position is more like acclaimed, in which they would really just kind of, it'd be worth more, but I don't know. That's tough. That's a good question.
I think Andrews could get more.
Yeah,
I think there's more longevity with Andrews.
That's fair.
Again, you can play tight end and barely move.
It's true. Don't catch the ball or
the
block.
Broncos basically have been doing it for 5 years. Ever since we traded away Noah Fant, man.
Yep.
We got fullbacks and tackles converted to tight ends.
Yeah.
Well, is it the best plan? No, but it can be done.
Cardinals defense, top 10 seems a little rich for me. I'm glad that they finally got a pass rusher. Like, they need to do that. Ask me after the draft and I'll feel a little bit better, because I imagine they're still going to target defense in this draft too.
Yeah, so Cardinals defense was terrible.
Yeah, top 10 is
draft everything for your defense is what I would say.
Not for me. A little much. Hey, just get out the scroll. Get out the scroll.
Draft the Cowboys defense, Arizona.
Mm-hmm. All right. So what we wanted to talk about today are teams that could potentially trade up into the top 10. Right?
I think just any trades. I think
you're saying any trades. All right.
Well, yeah, because who's going to deal out of the top 10? Maybe the Panthers at this point. Call me crazy. Maybe the Jags. I feel like the Broncos are a spot where teams might trade into, with the Steelers there at 21. And I think the back end of the first round here, you might see one of the quarterback needy teams trade back into the first to get their guy if they don't take it early, because you got that 5th-year option if you take a quarterback in the first round.
Correct.
And if you're not spending the 2nd or 3rd pick on, Shadur Sanders, and say the Steelers don't take the guy you actually like, boom. So I think that's what we're going to look at, right?
That's fair.
Okay.
That's next. I'll definitely get back to you this week, 100%.
Oh.
Hell yeah, we gonna rock. Oh, I remember, Johnny. Oh, I remember.
Yeah, well, he was a quarterback. How did I know he was going to fall apart?
I said he wasn't going to get anything. Like, it was almost nothing.
And God forbid we remember the one time I was wrong. The only time I've ever been wrong on this show. Let's throw it back in my face, Johnny.
Hey, Edward, that's how you're supposed to watch. You're actually supposed to watch it at the same exact time, just on one on your phone and one on like your PC or your laptop, and have both volumes way up too.
Yeah.
That's how it's supposed
Pause
to go.
one for like 10 seconds and then play it. So then you get like a weird echo too, Edward.
Well, you have to have the screens next to one another, so your left eye can be on one and your right eye can be on the other. Because if you start watching one more than the other, then
Camera one,
then it's unfair. And it's
camera one, camera
so.
two, camera one, camera two. Name that movie.
We back. Say it again.
Camera one, camera two, camera one, camera two. Name that movie.
Oh, I know that movie.
Somebody's gonna get it. Somebody's gonna get that movie. Come on. Yes, Sunny Days. Wayne's World. Wayne's World. You guys know.
Yeah. Greer said trading Tyreek wasn't on the table. He did say he would consider it for 2 firsts. It's also fair. I mean, I think a lot of teams would trade away lots of players for 2 firsts. Yeah, I think that they're just going to let him rock. Because, sorry, real quick, what's his contract looking like?
He got a new one last offseason too.
So he's on a 3-year, $90 million deal. So they have an out after this year. I imagine that they are going to be taking that or a significant restructure, because right now, this season, it's $27 million cap hit. So they could get out of it after this season for a $15 million cap hit. And then in 2026, his cap hit is nearly $52 million.
Tyreek's?
Yeah.
Great work, Miami.
Yeah. So I would imagine this is probably going to be his last year, or they're going to have to significantly restructure that, because, that's a lot of money.
The Dolphins really thought last year was they were in their window, right?
Yeah.
And it didn't work because Tua got hurt again. That's all that really shakes it. Like, you don't extend both those guys last year, kick a bunch of money down the road. That's a Saints move. That's a very Saints front office type move. And you do have Tua. Like, you can do it. And you got to keep doing it. But you should have brought back another one of, like, they let Van Ginkel go. They let Wilkins go. Javon Holland left this offseason. It's hard. It's hard when you let premier players go to stay competitive. But
yeah, I agree.
Anyway,
I agree. They got to figure
it out. We're gonna do this via a mock draft simulation.
Do it. Do it.
All right. Start this draft. We know this.
I feel that, Nathan.
Well, I feel that. Dear God,
there's also like Andrews hasn't put up the production you would think that he's going to put up. All right, so Titans are like Did you see the clip of Cam Ward? He was playing Fortnite, and someone asked him like who the best, like that was a top 5 running backs in the league, and he's like Tony Pollard, Spears.
Yeah, said Traylon Burks was the 4th best receiver in the NFL. You gotta love it. You gotta love that.
100%. Yeah. So I don't think that there's a scenario where the Titans are going to trade out at this point. I think they're going to rock with Cam Ward, and he's going to be their new QB.
Yeah. I think that's like the only thing we know for certain about this draft.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like that.
Okay. It looked like,
true.
So what was it, like a week or 2 ago? It was almost, the consensus was Abdul Carter at 2. Now it's Travis Hunter at 2. We'll just say Travis Hunter because it doesn't really matter for this scenario.
So this has got interesting too, because the Giants, right? They brought in Shadur Sanders to, get an extra little look-see. So
so this is everybody knows the Browns and the Giants need a quarterback.
Yep.
And I think both of those teams will actually draft a quarterback in this draft. What nobody knows is whether or not either of those 2 teams will draft a quarterback here, or it seems like the more likely scenario right now is they're taking a guy top of the 2nd round, or one of them's moving up into the 1st to get the guy. Mm-hmm. So what that means is both of these teams could really like Shadur Sanders, But in reality, the difference between Shedeur and Jackson Dart and Jalen Milroe and possibly even Tyler Shook, who are working on our video right now, might be insignificant, where they don't think there's much of a difference in those guys and how they project into the NFL on their teams. That's why this becomes interesting.
You got.
So do the Giants?
If I'm the Giants, I'm getting Abdul Carter.
Okay.
I think like that it makes the most amount of sense. So let me ask you this before we continue. Do you see a scenario where either Cleveland or New Jersey trade out of the second and third spot?
No. I think what you could see is one of those teams pick here and then trade back up.
Like you were saying before, and then trade back up into the...
If one of those teams really actually likes Shedeur Sanders, maybe they're the team that tries to get back to 8 to grab him. If the Panthers are willing to deal this pick like it's being rumored. And it's, as a reminder, the week before the draft, you start to hear everything.
Everything.
Every team's considering a trade. Every team hates this guy, loves this guy. Every team's getting AI to build them videos of their favorite draft prospect with a gas mask, ripping bong hits. Every team's doing it right now.
I feel like, so Tim, speaking of the Patriots, obviously they spent a lot of money in free agency, but I liked a bunch of the moves that they made because I think they're building a more competitive roster. I'm curious if the draft board falls the way that it just did in this mock, what the Patriots do at 4, right? Because if there's a team that, let's just say, really wants Sanders and wants to move up and go and get him, I feel like the Patriots would be smart to potentially move out of that spot and continue to build, because they're still going to have to address O-line, right? There's still some aspects of their roster that they can build. And I feel like while there's options here that would not be the worst, they can go after a Will Campbell if they want to. If they have that flexibility to move down, I'd feel even better, because I feel like with the Patriots, especially on offense, you just kind of need some talented folks, to develop on that side of the football. So I think the Patriots would be better than they were last year. How good? Yeah, it's going to depend on Drake May. But here's where I could potentially see the Patriots, I would say the first time
somebody considers a trade.
Yeah. I mean, again,
and I think Will Campbell's draft stock since the college season ended, I feel like his stock's kind of come down a little bit. And it's I don't know if NFL teams are sold he is a clear-cut elite tackle to go at 4.
Yeah, that's fair.
So that's the question you have. And the Patriots, I think I would be fine. They take Will Campbell there. I feel like, sure, they definitely need offensive line help. Here's a wild scenario for you, Tom.
Just spell it right.
We think the Raiders got a 90% chance of drafting Ashton Jeanty at pick 6. Ashton Jeanty, on a podcast recently, said the team that talked to him the most, Denver Broncos.
Oh, boy.
Team that was all in on him, pushing him, prodding him, probing him at the combine, the Broncos and the Raiders. So I'm not saying that the Broncos are truly considering leapfrogging the Raiders to get Ashton Jeanty.
Yeah.
Because there are other running back options in this draft. But if the Broncos do see him that way, and Sean Payton's kind of a wild card, Patriots, Jags are two teams Denver could talk to try and get ahead of the Raiders.
Oh, you think that they would trade up for Jeanty?
Maybe. I don't think they will, just because that's such a hard jump for them. If the Broncos were sitting at pick, 12, then okay. They'd have to give up a lot to get up to 4.
I don't think they're going up that high. But again, I think that this spot is potentially open if they have any hesitation on Will Campbell, right? Because the Jaguars, what they're going to do is really interesting because I agree with you. If Genty falls to the Raiders, I mean, it's been the consensus for a while now, but they, good God, need a run game. And I feel like getting Genty is such a significant upgrade. It not only is a position of need, but Genty, is a very highly touted prospect. So it makes all the sense in the world for him to go to Vegas. So then
I would like him to go to I think the Patriots would be smart to draft Genty.
I think they just need
their line is so far away from making you feel good about drafting a running back.
Yeah.
Like that's the weird spot that the Patriots are in.
Yeah. Yeah.
They could use a running back easily.
I mean,
so let's give them Will Campbell here.
That's fair.
Xavier,
the Eagles, I feel like the Eagles are going to do one of two things. Either one, they can trade out and potentially be what Perna said for a team that was looking to trade back into the first round, or if a guy just falls that they're in love with at 32, which is likely going to happen, they'll just pick that guy there. So I don't know if they're going to trade up.
Feel like a team very willing to trade that pick to the Browns or the Giants.
Yeah. That's fair.
Yeah, the Bears are definitely big on Genty. The Raiders are big on Genty. Honestly, if the Panthers didn't draft a running back last year, they might be big on Genty. What are the Jags going to do at 5?
So I feel like there's a few things they can do here. I feel like Graham makes the most amount of sense because their defense was just abysmal.
He's the most mocked to Jacksonville for sure.
Yeah, because if McMillan is cool, I don't think that they're taking him 5.
No, they got Johnson.
They got Brian Thomas. Yeah,
Sorry.
exactly.
Brian Thomas.
Like Genty could be a potential maybe they wind up taking him there, but I think Graham just fulfills a need, and like I said, just that defense needs to get significantly better, and I feel like Graham is going to make it better. So, yeah, I feel like that's where they would go. I feel like Cam Ward's going to be a bust, just vibes and intuition. I feel like it's just...
I don't think he is. If he's a bust, it's the Titans' fault. You talk about vibes, I think he has the right vibes.
Yeah, good vibes. I mean, listen, they're paying a lot of money for some offensive line help, and I don't think their offensive line is going to be completely saved now. But I think Cam Ward should be pretty solid for him, at least. At least they need a few things on that offense to make me more excited.
I think what could change the Raiders' mind at 6 is if Mason Graham is on the board for them. They need to get better. It's so hard because their defensive line, that's an area that could be better, right? But you're like, well, Wilkins was hurt for most of last season, so it could be better just by him getting healthy.
You never saw Wilkins and Crosby really be together.
Yeah. And Mason Graham, what he does, his strength is run defense, run stopping. If the knock on him is he's not an elite pass rusher from that position, but you might not be looking for that from your defensive lineman. Depends on how you want to use him. But if he were there, I think they consider him. Raiders fans also want a corner here.
So my question to you is still, because to stick with the title of the video, do you see the Jaguars or the Raiders trading out of that spot? I feel like if Genty's there, there's no shot the Raiders trade out of there.
Yeah, I don't think there's any trades yet.
Okay.
We give him Genty. Jets. Oops.
God's Butt Monkey wants that best names in the draft video. He wants that video. It's the only one.
All right, God's Butt Monkey. If anybody would actually watch that video anymore, maybe it would still be in the rotation. Maybe I can get one in May. All right. Jets, they need a quarterback. Nobody's talking about the Jets taking a quarterback, though, are they?
No, because I think that they're just...
Because they're stupid?
You want to talk about a rebuild? That's a rebuild right now. That is. Edward, I know that the Bears are big on Genty. I don't know if they're going to jump up that high. It'd be really interesting if they did, but yeah.
Yeah, they'd have to jump. They'd have to trade with the Jags, right? Probably.
Jaguars or the Patriots. They'd have to move, and I don't know if the Patriots are going to move down to 10.
How many draft picks do the Bears have right now? They only have 7 picks in this draft. I don't think they're trading. And then again, you've got to love Genty Like, love him.
Yeah.
And he is the number one back in this draft. But I think Ben Johnson, you have him to identify the other guys, the other running backs they can work with.
That's fair.
They need receiver. They need tackle. Let's just give them a tackle. There you go. All right, here we go. Panthers want to trade. Tom. Who are we going to have the Panthers trade with?
Ew, not for a 6. Don't do that to me. All right, the Panthers trade?
Yeah. Oh, the team we didn't mention, a team I think could have their eye on Genty, is the 49ers also.
I don't think
But saying the Niners want to move up in this draft. Who would they want to move up for? They move up, they get Genty, then they trade Christian McCaffrey. Obviously, I don't think they're going to get a ton for McCaffrey right now because of his injuries. But Kyle Shanahan, if he can use a guy like Ashton Genty, if he can't use a guy like Ashton Genty, nobody can. That's my pulling it out of left field idea. Niners want Genty.
They trade him back to the Panthers. They're like, here you go, you get CMC back.
Yeah. We'll give you CMC to get up to 8.
Yeah, that's fine.
Imagine like McCaffrey getting that news.
I could see the Panthers potentially moving out though, but they need an edge rusher. They do. I think that is one of their wide receiver be interesting. I don't know if they would spend it on a wide receiver here. They need to go get their new Brian Burns. So I feel like it's either edge, maybe receiver at 8, or they trade down and then they potentially go for their wide receiver there if McMillan is still around.
I think we have to trade here because they're open to trading.
Okay. So who takes that spot then?
Ooh, who do the Bucks want? Who do the Broncos want? Teams interested in pick 8. Steelers, the Texans, the Bills. I guess the Bills, they would want an edge rusher, right?
Yeah, I mean, the Bills definitely would want one, but I mean, that's a high place to trade. I don't think they're trading it at the top 10. They're going to have to give up.
Broncos going there? Who would want to get to 8?
Who's on the boards? I mean, there's plenty of people on the...
These are the teams interested. That's where this gets tricky, right? When we're talking about draft trades, some of these teams might want to move back, but the amount of teams who are interested in actually moving forward seem almost non-existent at this point. Like, I don't know who the fuck's trying to get up this far in the draft.
Yeah, they're just kind of waiting and seeing.
Yeah.
The Hawks, I don't think they're going to trade up, to be honest with you.
Here's the thought. Steelers,
I don't think they're going to.
If they think there's a chance the Saints would draft Shedeur Sanders, and let's say the Steelers actually wanted their quarterback, Mr. Sanders. Let's do that. All right. 8-21.
I don't even think the Steelers would do that. Because it would call to 21-8 is a huge jump. And I don't know if they're doing that for Sanders.
He would be a good Steelers QB. He would be a good Steelers QB. Who are the Broncos trading up for there? I don't think they're moved to 8 to get Amari and Hampton at that point.
See, I feel like I agree with you, though, in terms of
going edge.
I think, again, the Panthers, I think, need an edge. Like, they would potentially go edge here. But I feel like for the teams, I agree that I don't know if they're going to trade into the top 10 after this point, right? Like, unless someone's, like, really high on Sanders and they're concerned that, like, the Saints are going to go get him. Because even from there, dude, like, where's Sanders going to go? There's potential that he goes to the Saints, right, at 9. Bears ain't taking him. 49ers ain't taking him. Cowboys ain't taking him. Dolphins ain't taking him. I would be shocked if the Colts take him. They're not doing anything. You know what I mean? So I feel like there's not a team that, unless there is just like a prospect that they really, really want. I don't know. That's true, dude. That's very, very true. I'm gonna do that.
Could they add? Who would the Panthers draft at 8? They add another corner?
I feel like that they're going edge. So, hold on, what do you got there? They can go wide receiver. Like McMillan could be a potential guy, but yeah, you
Mike
have
Green?
Green is potentially on there. Yeah. I mean, because again, they just need to replace that production and get after the quarterback. So Colts could maybe. I mean, again, the Colts could bounce around. They need a few things. I don't know how high they're going to be trading up though. I was thinking about a wide receiver needy team. Like the Chargers, I feel like if they were floating a little bit closer, that maybe they might make a move and go get McMillan. But yeah, the Saints are interesting at 9. They are one of the more interesting teams of like, what the hell do they do? Because if this is your draft board, you can go and get McMillan, right? So you can go and get another wide receiver, have him opposite Chris Olave, which would just make your offense better. But you don't have a quarterback. That's why I don't, unless there's a team, I don't even know who's trading to 9 to go get Sanders. You know what I mean? Because like these next few teams are not taking him. Unless the Falcons are like, you know what? Let's do it again. First round QB. No. Cardinals aren't doing it. Bengals aren't doing it. Seahawks.
The Seahawks could possibly consider it. The Steelers could take him at 21.
Definitely.
And then that's it.
That's fair, Sharks. I think that's a good analysis. Yeah, I agree with that. So right now, if I wanted to, because I was asking like what teams could trade into the top 10, I feel like the Patriots and Jaguars could move off that spot. It's just, yeah, if it's for a QB, it's going to be Sanders. And I just don't know if there's a team that, unless there's a team trying to jump the Saints. If they're like really convinced that New Orleans is going to go after Sanders, they could trade with the Panthers. But it's going to be a short list of teams that are going to jump all the way up there. Yeah. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be an interesting first round, but maybe we don't see a ton of top 10 trades.
I think.
You think they're going Shedeur?
I think they'll go Shedeur. Boom. It's a good spot to take him, too.
I don't know about
based on all the shit last week, I think they need a plan outside of Derek Carr. I think if you got a guy who is the second best quarterback in this class, and make no mistake, he is. Picking him at 9 is not crazy. Bears, running back, D-line, safety.
Do you think the Broncos trade up to get Hampton because of the Bears? Ooh. I don't know if they go up that high.
Yeah, I don't. I think there's going to be a couple running backs that the Broncos feel really good about. And if Amari and Hampton is available at 20, they will take him. I think they like Travion Henderson. And I think there are other backs, I think like if some of the running backs you really like go before you pick at 20, then there's going to be another position you value, whether that's your defensive line, whether that's receiver, or whether that's tight end, that they can just stay put at 20 and grab. I think they have a better chance of thinking about the Steelers' need of a quarterback at 21 and moving back if somebody wants to leapfrog them.
Yeah.
All right. So the Bears, let's just.
You think it's Hampton? All right. People say
give them Hampton.
You don't get old Hampy Hamp?
Let's just give them Hampton just to move through this.
I mean,
49ers.
Yeah. We don't have to go through the whole first round because, like, I'm just looking at trades, right? Well, Howard in a second. Like, I feel if there's an edge guy that the Colts really like the Colts need to build up their defense again, and their defense is another thing that needs to desperately improve. Falcons, maybe they'll shock the world and actually go and get an edge rusher at some point.
Look, I gave the Niners Jihad Campbell. They lost Dre Greenlaw. They really wanted him. I know nobody's mocking him there, but boom. All right, Cowboys, they're not going to trade.
Ivan said, enjoyed your takedown at ESPN a few days ago, Perna. Can you speak to the quality of Fox Sports, though, and how bad Fox NFL Sunday has been for years?
Ivan, that's going to be our next one.
Yeah.
It's about a Fox Sports show. So maybe I'll like, if you think ESPN's bad, and my point was, I don't think ESPN's as bad as we make it out to be. Fox Sports is probably worse than you think it is.
Thank you, Edward.
Cowboys.
Honestly, if this is I think they need to go with McMillan.
Okay, we'll give them that.
They have needed a wide receiver too for a while.
Oh, they need a corner. You got Jade.
When the hell are we going to figure out what the hell the Bengals are doing?
Tyler Warren to the Colts. If he's there, that is a slam dunk. Falcons.
It's just taking over now.
I'm just trying to get back down to a spot where another trade might happen.
Falcons are going to draft a QB, right? Jackson Dart?
Yeah.
Biding their time.
Edge, receiver.
Yeah, again, last year you had like all those quarterbacks go very, very early, and obviously this year is not the case. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see a bunch of teams potentially maybe stay put, or we're just going to see kind of near the middle to the end of the first round, teams move around.
Who do you want, Falcons fan? Donovan? I don't think James Pierce is going there. Shamar?
Yeah, Stewart would be interesting. But again, it's just
let's just give him an edge. Cardinals, they say guard, defensive line. There, you can have Walter Nolan. You're welcome. D-line, linebacker, guard.
Yeah, Bengals, D-liner, offensive line.
Yeah, Kenneth Grant. That makes a lot of sense.
That's fair.
Seahawks, what do you got, Seattle? Center, guard, edge. Yeah, you can have a tackle. I don't give a fuck about you, Seattle, right now. Edge, linebacker, DB. Woo.
Like, is there anyone right now, like the Broncos?
Will Johnson's there. They'll take that.
In those last few spots that they're going after.
All right, here we go.
You just wanted to get to the Broncos.
There we go. Who going to trade with the Broncos to get ahead of the Steelers and take that quarterback? The Giants? The Rams? The Rams are a sneaky quarterback team, Tom, because
I understand.
How long Stafford playing for him? Another year? 2 more years?
Well, it just extended him, so a little bit longer.
I don't think they're going to trade up, but I'm thinking just sitting there at 26. Possibly. Now, Pro Football Focus is saying the Vikings would want to trade with the Broncos and the Rams would want to trade with the Broncos at 20. We know Denver needs a receiver. They need a running back. They could go defensive interior there. Obviously, there's a lot of interesting guys on the stir. I think if Igbuka's there for the Broncos, that is a high probability they take it. There's a lot of receivers here.
Matthew Golden?
Yeah. I think Amika more likely.
All right, do it. I believe in you. So in this case,
what we're saying is like it becomes hard to justify a trade up in this.
I
draft.
agree, unless there's like a certain prospect that they're like, ooh, I'm worried about this guy, potentially going.
Yeah.
Because like the Packers, I don't think that they're going to draft a wide receiver in the first round. I'd be shocked if they... Well, shocked is wrong. I would be very surprised. But here, are you just going Jackson Dart?
Do you think the Steelers like Dart more than Milroe? That's the real question. Yeah, we'll give him Dart. He feels like a Steeler.
Dart. I mean, wide receiver all day. It literally could be Golden here.
Actually, I think they might go tight end Colston Loveland.
Okay. Do Loveland.
That's a receiving threat.
Do it.
Same thing.
Oh, thank God. Edge. Please, for the love of Christ. Yeah, give me an edge. Give me an edge rusher, please. So here, I mean, Pierce, I think you could... All right, there's like 4 guys. Literally those top 4, I could see either ones. The problem with Stewart is like he is a typical Packer draft in which like he has all this athletic ability that just numbers aren't there. And again, you're drafting based off potential. But the Packers need like a ready guy. Mykel Williams, I like because even if he's not going to put up the sack numbers, he's pretty damn good at stopping the run, which I'm a fan of. And then, yeah, I talked about Gordon. I would not mind him either. Pierce is really damn good. I think Pierce actually might go a little bit earlier. So I think for me, I go Pierce.
Got him.
Yeah. Best place to find tape for mock draft research. So what you could do is you could look up, if you want to look up certain games, those are usually on YouTube, I've found. So like, let's just say like you want to go see a certain player, like how they played against Georgia. Yeah, they only usually have like a couple hundred views, but if you want to go find a certain prospect, especially if they're like a first round prospect, you could find those individual games I have found on YouTube. So personally, that's usually what I use though. But yep. Here, the Vikings, they gonna be trading down. Dude, who the hell knows what's going on with Jair? Yeah, they have been working out, but who the hell knows?
They say the Eagles want to trade with them. Doubt it.
Ooh,
DB, there's really good safety here. Boom, got it. Wide receiver, O-line. Luther Burden, you feel like a Texan. Boom, Rams.
I think they're going D-line for the Steelers.
Rams?
The Steelers are
Steelers.
It'd be interesting.
Tight end, you need a tackle. Boom, got it. Ravens. Now, any of these teams, I think you start to talk about as possible trading back. Who's getting antsy about getting a quarterback?
Boom. King Andrew is getting antsy about getting a quarterback with a hundo.
Oh,
Boop, boop. King Andrew. No, I did not, unfortunately, King Andrew. I saw just about everything else. I mean, there was no downtime in Japan. It was just like nonstop. But dude, like seeing all those shrines and temples it was awesome. A whole lot of nature going on. Oh, it was fantastic. It was pretty damn great. So yeah, it was fantastic. But no, I did not get a chance, unfortunately. I did not. What are you saying, Perna? The Ravens?
yeah, what are the Ravens going to do?
Great question.
I think the whole point of this exercise that
Edge? I mean, again, sitting through this, I don't know how many trades there's going to be. I don't think that there's going to be a ton of trades because of the top 10, there's like maybe 2 teams that make a little bit of sense. Maybe.
gave you a good offensive lineman, Baltimore.
Another one.
Oh, Matthew Golden.
What?
Ooh, Johnny John John!
Mm.
I got your scooter away. I got you. I got it. I appreciate you, King Andrew. I got you.
Who feels like a lion here?
I feel like they go edge. Edge makes sense. They just got rid of Zadarius Smith, and on top of that, they need somebody opposite.
Bam.
All right, let's do it. Oh, super easy. This was actually the most surprising thing. I thought it was going to be a lot more difficult. Now it's super easy in Japan. There's a lot of places that had a ton of options. Yeah. Good.
The Commanders will be in the running back market.
They will.
There's a good chance Travion Henderson is the third back taken in this draft.
Let's go.
I feel like we got to do one trade, though. Somebody's got to trade up into here.
I am a Star Wars fan, but
Running back, guard, edge, corner.
Draft. You know?
There, you can have Trey Amos.
Oh, there you go. That'd be fun.
There we go. All right, Buffalo. Ooh, no way.
Edge receiver.
That would be a slam dunk. Okay, Chiefs. You're gonna trade with the. No, who would the Chiefs take? Probably go offensive line.
Probably.
Browns. Giants. Giants trade with the Eagles. Interdivision trade, Tom.
And then what quarterback are they going to go get?
That's our final question. Who do the Giants love? Well, Shadur's gone.
King Andrew dropping Perna hundo.
Whoa.
I know, King Andrew. It's honestly disappointing.
Hey, Andrew.
You going Jalen Milroe or Howard?
I don't know.
You know what quarterback I'm going to get?
Johnny John John!
You know why it makes even more sense for the Giants or the Browns to trade back up to the first part of that, or the back part of that first round? The quarterbacks that would you'd be grabbing are guys you want to have an extra year on your roster, because you're not throwing any of those guys in to start right away. So the 5th-year option, outside of like the money part of it, in terms of your future contracts with your quarterbacks, like having that extra year, knowing you're not going to start them, I think becomes important. And I think that's why you would see the Giants or the Browns actually move up if they don't take one early. It's like,
I get that.
They've got Russ there. The Browns have Flacco and Pickett.
Yeah.
And you're going to need another year before you can actually move on from, Watson. Like, letting those guys just marinate in your building, I think it's extra important if those teams take a QB.
Again, for the Giants, they bought that flexibility with bringing in Winston and Wilson. Like, you're set at least for the year, right? So you can go best player available, and then, if you want to trade up at the end, cool. If not, you rock until next year, or you just have later in the draft.
I pray a team like the Panthers trade out of 8. I want some movement. I like when there's some shakeups, some surprises.
Yeah.
I want to see it.
I agree. Yeah, I think in just looking through this, like the top 10 movement, it doesn't seem like there's going to be a lot of teams that are going to move. I could be way off base here, but it just seems like maybe there's 1 or 2 teams that could move, up or down, because I don't think that there's going to be a real run, especially like after 9. It doesn't look like that there's going to be a lot until like maybe like 15 or 18. But we'll see. We only got about a week to go. Perna, what do you got coming out, my good friend?
We got a video about some of the disastrous trades that have happened in the NFL recently, a little less recently, but how much they set those teams back.
Yeah. No, that's very, very fair. Today this evening at like 6:30, I'm going to do my members Q&A. So that will be up. I don't know if there's a video today. There'll definitely be a video tomorrow.
Oh yeah, I got my Patreon hangout tonight too.
Oh yeah, what time's yours?
8:15.
Your time, my time.
My time.
Oh, wow. So that's a 10:15 Eastern.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. All right. But folks, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you on Friday. I'm Tom Grossi. That's Brandon Perna. This is GPS. And you have been navigated.
And you've reached your destination.